What's goody, everybody? It's your boy Wilder42K, and welcome back to the channel. Got a banger for you all today, Wild Things. And this week, we will also be seeing our 200th video on the channel. But today, we settled for a video 199. And today, we will be talking about the biggest draft busts in NBA history. Now, we aren't going to be putting these in any particular order, but up first, we have Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. MKG wasn't as bad as some that could have made this list, but taken in the 2012 draft at number 2 overall by the Charlotte Bobcats, right after Anthony Davis and ahead of names like Damian Lillard and Bradley Beal, MKG had a very inconsistent career. Combined with injuries, he earned all rookie honors in 2012, but in 2013 through 2015, he suffered several leg injuries and shoulder injuries, and by 2016, he still hadn't played a full season in the NBA. But in 2017, he technically made a splash. He played 81 total games, being one of only 4 or 5 players that did that, even though he only averaged 9 points on 47.7 shooting percentage. By 2018, he was barely seeing any playing time, and by 2020, he was completely out of the National Basketball Association. Again, there are probably other names that could go on this list over MKG, but I feel for where he was drafted and who was around him in that draft, what he accomplished with Charlotte and the other teams he ended up playing for through 2020, he didn't accomplish enough to earn his overall draft pick. Up next, we have Greg Oden, drafted first overall in 2007 by the Portland Trail Blazers, one pick before multiple Finals MVP winner Kevin Durant. But his career was deemed over essentially before he even hit the court. He missed his entire quote-unquote rookie season due to a microfracture knee surgery. He had several more injuries and surgeries throughout his tenure with the Trailblazers until 2013 when he was released and then signed to the Miami Heat. He lasted there in Miami with the Heat just 1 year, where he managed to play in his first game since 2009 in that preseason with the Heat. He played in just 23 games for the Heat that year and only 105 for his entire career, averaging just 8 points, only half an assist, and 3.8 rebounds before exiting the NBA following that year. Following Oden, we have Kwame Brown. This is a name most people know. Hell, he had a 13-year career, but for a first overall pick, the playing time received, his effectiveness, and overall role is not what you would expect from a first overall pick. He was also the first ever high schooler to be selected first overall in the NBA draft and was Michael Jordan's first ever big selection as the president of basketball operations for the Washington Wizards. He played for several teams including the Wizards, Lakers, and Pistons, but through 607 total games played, he only started under 50% of them. Brown averaged just 6 points, 0.9 assists, and 5.5 boards over his career. By far, his best season was in 2003 when he averaged 10.9 points, 1.5 assists, and 7.5 rebounds for the Wizards. But by far, as a number 1 overall pick, you need to perform better. I don't think there's a better example of a bust, in my opinion, that lasted that long in his career, other than one guy, which we'll mention here in just a couple seconds. Now, if we were going to put these in order, I think Kwame Brown would probably be second in my personal opinion, but coming up in our second position, again, no particular order, is none other than Anthony Bennett, another first overall pick, especially ahead of Giannis Antetokounmpo, by the Cavaliers in the 2013 draft. Bennett only played 4 years in the NBA and as a number 1 overall pick, and as a rookie, he played in 52 games, didn't start any, and only averaged 4 points. He was traded to the Timberwolves that year, and he didn't fare well there either. A 2-week ankle injury resulted in only 3 starts and an average of 15 minutes a game over the season. He then went to Toronto, where he played for the Raptors, and eventually made it to Brooklyn in his 4th and final season. And since 2017, he's had stints in the G League and several overseas teams, truly never finding his home. He ended up having an average career NBA of 4.4 points, 3.1 boards, and half an assist. Again, as a number 1 overall pick, you have to perform better, and I know you never really know what you're going to get out of a pick, and with injuries, yes, there's excuses, but I don't think there was ever really a significant injury that stopped him from being what he could have been. He just never reached that potential, but he never stopped. He never stopped trying to get better, playing in the D League, the G League, and overseas consistently. He never stopped trying to get better. He just never seemed to get over that hump. And finally, the man we all knew that was going to be on this list, possibly the most overscouted, overhyped, and underperforming draft pick in NBA history, Darko Milicic. Drafted 2nd overall in what could possibly, and I will say definitively, the best draft class of all time, the 2003 draft. Second to none other than the king, LeBron James, and ahead of Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and Carmelo Anthony. The reason why he's the biggest bust ever in the NBA is he has no excuses. There were no injuries. He was drafted around and amongst some of the greatest players of all time, and especially the greatest players of a generation, and proved to be no more than a bench player, at best. Over his career, he averaged 6 points, 1 assist, and 4 rebounds with a full career 57% free throw percentage. To me, this guy doesn't even make the league then or now. And how he lasted so long, even as a role player or a bench player, over 12 years, playing 468 games, is insane to me. How this man, drafted in that draft class, lasted so long in the NBA, underperforming consistently. There is no way any NBA team saw 6 points, 1 assist, and 4 boards as being a reputable player on their team for that long. Maybe I'm being harsh on this guy, but it doesn't make sense to have a 12-year career in the NBA or any professional sport averaging what you did with the talent he was drafted around. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Also, let me know in the comments who you think is the biggest draft bust in your favorite team's history, and maybe we'll cover a story on them. Anyways, thank you, Wild Things, so much. Much love, and I will see y'all in the next one.